Alright, so Cable's TV started as a way to provide better reception for people in mountainous and rural areas. The system initially consisted of big antennas on top of a hill that plucked a television signal out of the air. It used an amplifier, which was called the head-end, to strengthen the signal, and a coaxial cable to deliver it to people's homes. In the early years, the cable television was called community antenna television. Anybody could that was handy with electronics could set up a service in their own town. People who wanted to watch TV would just chip in and pay for the cost of the service. As the number of subscribers grew, additional cables were spliced into the original cable, and amplifiers were added where they needed to be. Transmission was one way, so it was sent from the amplifier, the head end, to the user's home. And in 1947, Time Inc. started a new channel called the Home Box Office, which provided movies to people's homes, and it was only available through the cable. When large corporations saw that this was widely demanded by users, they began to buy out cable systems and start laying new cables to acquire those new subscribers. It also was able to connect multiple systems. This was often with different cities, so they could get the different channels. And yeah, this was distributed through new cable channels. And internet over cable. Let's see here. So over the course of the years, cable systems grew. The cables between the various cities were replaced by high bandwidth fiber, similar to what happened with the telephone system. Over the past decades, after that, many cable operators decided to get into the internet access business, and often the telephone business as well. So those two kind of mesh together. Now all the one-way amplifiers, so from what I said earlier, the head-end straight to the user's home, that all had to be switched out or replaced by a two-way amplifier, which supported the upstream as well as the downstream transmissions. So while all this was happening, early internet over cable systems was used the cable networks for downstream transmission, and a dial-up connection for the via the telephone network for upstream transmissions. Basically, like AOL, how AOL started. And so, as I said, like AOL. So when people wanted to use internet, that went straight through the telephone network. So that's why you couldn't use the telephone when you were on the internet. Now, when you wanted to watch TV, that wasn't the case. You could watch TV and use the telephone, so you didn't have any interruptions there. And the more connections that you have, that created more competition between who got what bandwidth. So say somebody wanted to download a huge file, that would take away from the users in that same neighborhood or community. So it wasn't really effective. Now spectrum allocation. Having TV and internet peacefully was what coexist together, was what in high demand. So throwing off TV channels and using cable infrastructure strictly for internet access would anger customers. So cable companies didn't want to go that route. So they did a division of multiplexing, which basically takes the bandwidth and divides it into subbands, and each subband carries a signal. So you won't be taking channels away from, or you won't be taking channels and using internet at the same time. And the solution was division of multiplexing, which introduced upstream channels from 5 to 42 megahertz bands, and the use of frequencies at the high end of the downstream signals. So basically, all of this was used for downstream data. 3.5 to 42 megahertz down here was used for the upstream channels, which I guess just to get channels that they wanted. Questions? All right, so let's see here. So what was the megahertz region that they used to download amplifiers?
5 to 42.
Correct.
Who said that? Excellent. Snickers? You can have anything you like, sir. Here you go.
Hey,
Okay,
don't
so
yell on that.
what was the company that started movie distribution called?
I
Correct.
I heard someone in the back say it. Who was it? I see you. I'm gonna throw something at you. Okay. Watch out.
Everybody in between duck.
And in what year was that company?
Mine said more. Somebody in the back said that. All right, here it goes. All right, guard your eyes. I'm so sorry. I can't. Okay, this is
Anybody know what the amplifier, what the different name for the amplifier was?
Community television.
It's somewhere to the right. Just toss it to the right. There was another name that was used for the amplifier. Anybody like that? It was called the head end. That was the different name for the amplifier.
Who can repeat what he just said?
The head.
Who was it? Who was it? Who was it? See, that one was good.
That's because it was close.
Listen, watch it.
All right. All right, guys.